Check it. Yeah. I'm good. Like I understood, I remember here. Oh, what classes? 255. But honestly, you should be creating a basic from good and intelligent. Backward design as a concept. I have results in the I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done?
Backward design. Example, so. Okay. What you doing, Sean?
The next two are like the examples how it's supposed to look like.
Okay. Can I see more sample?
There's the pictures of the map, and then this is the two charts, and then this is the field trip thing.
Is there another sample?
This is all this.
Is all? Okay.
This is like the directions, and then this starts the example of what it's supposed to. The result, and then this objective. This is the standard for the math, and then this is social studies. This is part of social studies. I think, yeah, this is the social studies. She didn't write her little science objective here. Standard. She wrote her assessment plan, the exit ticket, and then the activity for all like everything.
Okay, so are we starting this?
I was looking at the standards. I'm kind of like was looking from the social studies one first, and then try to make sure those other ones. Because for that one it's kind of hard to look at what. This is the social studies one. This to tell the how to tell that thing. Just like those start of the concepts and stuff of what I was planning to maybe do like I'm mainly so called looking at the kindergarten to second grade. I don't need those other ones. Yeah. Yeah. Because I so called have to find this and then find those other ones that connect to this and then make an activity like or find an activity that connect everything in there. So. For this one, I think I found one in. I think it was this one. It is this one. I think maybe it was. Or
what grade do you want to work with?
the first grade one. This one of these like I think this second one is the one I'm looking at. And then I would need find an activity. I think it was planning to make them so-called pretend to like buy stuff from like a little grocery store or something, kind of like a role playing activity. And then for the science part, I need to find a standard that would match up with like maybe that can be like the planting the fruit growing that you need to buy it and stuff something kind of standard for that, and then maybe a math like counting thing for that.
Which one is used on the decided to produce secondary and services? Reduce secondary services. I see what you mean. I think it makes sense in some way because you're supposed to create like activities for this.
Yeah, based on the standard here, and then like make sure everything combined, like make sure it combines and stuff.
Yeah. Before, can I see the sample again?
Okay, just
So,
you have only the social studies and math, and then the science you don't have anything. Just 3 little dots.
the math of activities, how you wanted to make them count something?
I think it would be something with counting.
Yeah.
Like maybe, yeah, it would be one of those counting ones. Yeah. And then for the science, I think I need to look for which one would the science
Because you know, like
standard match. Kind of be similar.
So can I see the what we're looking at before the question, like the prompt?
The prompt,
Not the prompt. I mean the the thing that showed first grade. Yeah, that one.
this one.
Yeah. So describe the skills and knowledge required to produce certain goods and services. So I feel like this one they have to know how goods and services are produced. That's the main goal, right?
I don't know. This is so-called a standard, so I don't.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't really say much after it,
yeah,
like
but
no.
I'm not even saying anything beyond this. I'm
Yeah.
saying that the main goal is for them to describe the skills and knowledge required to produce certain goods and services. So if you're saying, let's say you take them to a grocery store, how would they know how goods and services are provided through that or are produced through that?
Um, I think for that one, that they're
So they're supposed to gain knowledge of how goods and services are produced. That's the main goal. Yeah, how are goods and services produced? So we'll go into the grocery store, show them how things are produced.
that part, I think it was with gonna uh, how the vegetables and stuff are grown and stuff. So
Yeah, do they know that in the grocery store? Like, do you know when you go to the grocery store, do you know how vegetables are produced?
I think they should, yeah. If they have plants and stuff at home, and they eat vegetables and stuff there's at home, and they.
Yeah, I guess then you have to think about that. If they have plants at home, what kind of activity can you make surrounding the plants they have at home? What kind of activity can you make them do? Because like plants is different from like the produce itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you see a plant and you see like if you see like a plant that has fruits on it,
Mm-hmm.
that tells you, oh, an orange comes from an orange tree, an apple comes from an apple tree. But if you go to the grocery store and you just see apples, it doesn't tell you where they come from, right? It doesn't tell you how
Mm-hmm.
they're produced.
Mm,
What kind of activity can you come up with that helps students how goods and services are produced?
mm, I don't. Yeah. Uh, hmm. I'm not sure for that.
But do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Hmm. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So let's try to think about. So let's see. Can I see
Which one?
the sample?
This one?
So we have to do math, objective, and standard. How can we do that? I think you had an idea before.
It was like the counting and stuff.
Yeah, counting. What would you count?
Uh, I think it's so called like for they're gonna pretend to be a grocery store in some ways, and then the kind that's what I was aiming for. Like maybe
Okay.
the activity
Mm-hmm.
is like that. So
Yep.
like they'll be counting money,
Counting money.
and then with that counting, it can be adding and stuff too. With adding.
Yeah, but does that lead to like the ultimate goal? Because you know how like this one, the students are supposed to explore and understand the differences and similarities between living and non-living things in the neighborhood. And then the math one is saying students will represent and living and non-living things in their neighborhood by creating a graph. In this way, through this work that they're doing, they're able to differentiate, ultimately leading to this main goal. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the math assignment is not just a math assignment. The math assignment is something that is trying to achieve this goal, right? Because if they
Mm-hmm.
create a graph that shows living and non-living things, they are able to understand the differences and similarities between living and non-living things, which is the desired result.
Mm,
Does that make sense?
okay.
Does that make sense? Like the math assignment, the math standard, the math activity, it's not just a math
Mhm.
activity. It's a math activity that is trying to achieve this result, right? Because the desired result is at the end of every activity,
Mhm.
the student should be able to know the differences and similarities between living and non-living things in the neighborhood, right? Now, see, the neighborhood is like a major,
Mhm.
and then for the math assignment, you're now asked to represent living and non-living things in their neighborhood by creating a graph. So when they draw the graph, they're able to say, okay, this is a living thing, this is a non-living thing, ultimately achieving this main goal of this result. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Okay. I actually kind of then I don't know what like activity would
Mm-hmm.
really match up with that standard
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So I don't know.
You have to think, you can't just say you don't know.
Yeah. Uh.
If you're saying, okay, we want students to be able to know how things are gotten, how things are produced, how goods and services are produced, and we're looking in this context of fruits and like,
Maybe I can try to see if there's any
okay.
activities related to the standard. It's worksheets. I don't really have any activity other than these so-called sorting worksheets. That's the or the flashcard. It does not have anything other than those worksheets or like that sorting of the flag. Or yeah.
If you want to change the topic or
Mm, and this is it. Geography. Mm, There are not many. Maybe the one of these history ones.
can we talk?
I think one of these three.
Two out of the three.
Mm, I think the first one's okay, or the second one. I think the first or second.
One of them.
Maybe the first one here.
Creative chronological sequence of logically event. You know what that means?
Mm, I don't. I don't. I'm not. The sequence part. That's what. Um. I think for those the other parts of it, like the events and current learning, I'm not this part for that.
Yeah, because it sounds confusing to me. That's why I was asking. Like,
Yeah, I thought it would seem easier, but apparently it don't.
I think it's less about what is easy, but what you understand. Because if you understand like the actual problem, you will be able to create activities for it. So which one of these ones like you can really understand?
Because then I need to find an activity that's connected to these.
Okay.
So, hmm, um, maybe this population.
Yeah, it's been how people live in different places. That's easy and that's good, right? You think you can do it?
This is a human population. On the side here. Like what activity would be like with this? It seems like if I choose this second one, that first one there.
Yeah, that's you have to try to think. I can't tell you that
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
thing to do. Showing how goods, people and goods move from place to place. So for like a math activity, what would that look like?
The moving place to place can be those addition and subtraction for sure. And then
Well, what would it look like? Can you like go into more detail?
I,
So if you have like let's say 4 people and then you have 5 people, how would you do the addition and subtraction? Like
or with the so-called those fruits and vegetables.
no, I'm just saying like for this one, do you want to use fruits instead? Because you're trying to explain how people and goods move from place to place. So how would you talk about it? How would you do an activity for it?
Um, it'd be travel. But oh, then what would be like the science? You see any like science that would go with this idea?
I should do a sample again.
Yeah.
Create. What does science mean? Science standing
The
for.
little science example was the field trip to the farm. They just went to the farm.
Oh, they went to the farm?
That's what they went to somewhere. That's the science. The neighborhood thing, this was their science.
I'm trying to understand how is that a science?
Because she in her example she didn't write anything like
Did she experiment in class?
no.
So how is that a science? I'm trying to understand like the requirements for like a science. Like
Yeah. I'm not sure what would her. This is so called the math, and then that's just social studies, and this is science. So.
yeah, I know, but how is this a science? Like I'm trying to understand like the what makes up a science standard. Like you know, for math, it has to
Yeah.
have like addition, subtraction, or something of some sort, a graph, a mathematical concept. But what would make something a science?
But so called those different kind of life science and stuff. These are the ideas of the science. These are the different types of science.
So what would that look like for that question? How people move from place to place? How goods and people move?
Mm.
Trying to think of like how you would. So I'm struggling to understand the science concept of it. But if you were in the class and you guys talked about this, I could say okay for the math, maybe you would do something like if or if you moved can I say
The example,
not the sample but
the standard,
so explain how people and goods move from place to place. So tell me, how do people and goods move from place to place?
they travel
How?
by plane and trucks and boats.
So by air, land, or sea, right? That's what we're talking. I was going on. So air, land, sea, and then those have like types of air traveling by air, things like that. So how would you use a math concept to explain that? So how would you you do that in the math standard?
For the math, it can be those adding, subtracting, or like the cost with like
What would that look like?
um
If you had to use something,
um um, um,
okay, so I don't know the answer to this, so that's why I'm
yeah.
trying to ask you to think about it. If you like in the other one, we saw that they used a graph. If you're going to use a graph, what would that look like?
Oh, maybe it can be like mm, what type of transport they use.
How do you
Uh, like calculate how many each kid. Um, like calculate which for that one it can be like how they get to school. Like
Mm-hmm.
what type of like they bus or walk or go car or something.
So what would that look like in the math setting?
Um, I think that would be counting of some sort to like or
Mm-hmm.
collecting the data and then graphing it.
So what would that look like? You have to bring more into detail so you know what you're working with.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a graph, how would that look like?
Uh, it- I think for the graph it would be like a maybe this bar graph or some sort or some kind of
So
graph.
what would be the question for the graph?
How you get to school, like what kind of what type of like you come to school and like, the way you come to school. You walk, you ride the bus or in the car.
Would you say draw a graph showing how you came to school?
It would be like the so-called the teacher asking each student how you come to school.
So you would say draw a graph showing how you came to school.
I think something like that.
That a math concept.
Because it would be kind of similar to how this one is with the data. I think it
This
would.
one's they're comparing something, right?
They're getting the data, so they're creating the graph.
They're creating a graph by comparing something. Can I see the graph sample?
It's just sorting it.
I think there's a graph here, right?
This is the map.
This is the map. Oh, okay.
This is so-called the science they're going on in the future.
Fire living and non-living things. Mm. Why
Hmm?
okay. Why did you call it a graph? But here, even in this one, they're doing like if it's not just like they are just putting out stuff, they're
Mm-hmm.
comparing something which is achieving something, right? The
Mm-hmm.
main goal is to be able to differentiate living and non-living things. Your main goal is to what?
Yeah.
Is to be able to they should be able to explain how people and goods move from place to place. That's your main goal. So the main goal, how do people and goods move from place to place? So do you think you're here drawing a graph or drawing a graph about how they came to school explains how people and goods move from place to place?
That the, I think that can be one activity of the three.
Of the three of math or what?
That'd be the math activity, and then the science, the social studies one.
But do you think that's good enough for the math? Like them
Um,
saying this is how I came to school. What would the graph look like?
I
Me
think it might be a bar graph of some sort. Or
showing how okay, do you want to draw it to
it'd
see?
be a bar graph. Like there would be like those and then the number of people. It would be just this like those different types.
Different types. So what you
And
ask
that
them
this
to
is
do?
by numbers, what number of students on the thing. Yeah.
But you ask them to show how they came to school. So what would that look like?
The I think I'll do a tally mark of it and then graph it. That's what
Tally mark of what?
of how the different
Different what?
this walk and then the bus and the car.
Okay.
And for ask each student like how they come to school and then graph that.
You want to take note of that so you don't forget.
Tally tally marks of it or like
So you
tally
would
marks.
have like different modes of coming to school, and they had to choose how they came to school, right?
Ask them how they came to school. You came to school by bus or you walked it.
Okay, so that makes sense. That's a good point. So for the other one, where is it? I think this is it, right? I'm trying to see what the next one is. After math, we have to do what? What's the next one?
The social studies.
So she studied. Then to create neighborhood maps, identifying living and non-living things in their neighborhood. So what would that look like for you?
I thought for the social studies one. Of guidance. What kind of activity would go with this? So, um,
So what kind of things would go? What's your main goal again?
I don't have one yet.
You do have a main goal. Main goal of the this is your desired result. That's what it's called in the sample, right? It's called the desired result. Can we go to the sample? Desired result, right? Because this is what you want your students. This is what all of these things are leading towards this. And that is that students are able to understand the differences and similarities in non-living things and living things in their neighborhood. In your case, your desired result is that the students are able to explain how goods and people move from place to place. Does that make sense? That's why I put here main goal. How do people and goods move from place to place? So what kind of social activity would make students learn about how people and goods move from place to place?
I think it would be like a visit or a field trip to somewhere.
Where?
It'd be a field trip of some sort to so-called see how this. Yeah. I think to either a science or history museum for it to see.
And how people and goods move from place to
Like one of them would so-called have like the form of transport. And then one is more like about the history of like people traveling from place to place.
You think they have to go to the museum? You think it's something they can see?
They can go to the library to like find some books that's like about the.
Do you think a library um is is the right place for kindergarten and students to go find something? Do you think they want to read a book?
I I meant they like to. I think they like to listen to stories, but.
So if you brought like kindergarten students to this library and you told them go check for a book or that has how do people move from place to place. Because it's a social activity, right?
Mm-hmm. um,
I'm not. You
yeah,
can
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
use your the museum idea. That also works.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that like there's so much around us that's moving from place to place,
Mm-hmm.
and that they could just look around them and see how different things move from place to place. Or you could just stick with your museum idea, but I think that that's like very basic. Because you see, like, um, they would see a car that's moving with human beings in
Mm-hmm.
it. You would see a big truck that has chairs in it. Right? That's how it
Or
fits
maybe
together.
they can do like a little neighborhood walk or some
Mm-hmm.
sort for those things
And
instead.
identify one.
And then they can see like the different types of transport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe for that they can count how many they see, like how many cars they see and stuff like that.
Right. So you want to say like how many cars that have human beings in it, or how many cars or trucks that have things and things in it? Because you're doing like how people and goods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how you see like trucks that have chairs and then that are moving chairs
Mm-hmm.
or you see like moving trucks.
Yeah. Maybe yeah. For that they can. Yeah, I think I kind of see that they can do the comparing for
Mm-hmm.
that. They do that walk and then they can count how many they see of each.
But do you think that's kind of going into the math?
Then that can kind of go into their math too.
In the math book. Does that still work for the circular?
Um, I think it can.
Okay.
I think so. Then what would be the science?
Science one is one I'm still struggling to understand. Because I don't have any good
Yeah,
example.
for this cover of it. Or would that neighborhood walk can be kind of also that too?
Be a science how?
Mm. I mean that one they're kind of looking for like the cars that have like people and like maybe those like food and stuff and um
How would that be a science?
not sure for the science. Um, the science.
I wish I could watch the video because I don't even know the sample.
Yeah.
Does the video not?
I can't play it. I can only see it. I can't. It's a video and so of some sort.
Okay, if we can do the science, how about the geographic representation?
That's part of the social studies.
Part of it.
Yeah, it's a social study. Yeah, that's the social study. And here in the activity, it does not really say the video thing here. Mention about the video. I'm not sure what that video really is. The walk in the neighborhood. Let's so call the walk in the neighborhood is the science.
You could try.
It can't play.
Oh,
It's a field trip
it's a future.
to a farm.
You virtual.
Yeah, to a farm.
And then they even like talk about the things that are leaving everyone with.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So what are we going to
See if maybe there's a field trip like that too. Something.
like that too?
Or something like that. I think. Yeah, maybe a field trip or some kind of other activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The science one, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But based on that.
You find the uh beautiful state.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Hold on.
I don't know what what the science of like transportation and both because this is pretty easy.
Mhm.
Like because it's living and non-living things. That in itself is science. So it's easy to find a video that talks about non-living things and living things and classify it as science.
Mhm.
But like with transportation, what part of science is that? I'm just thinking
The force, the
the
motion, maybe that's that kind of because the cars and stuff are moving. Maybe that can be the force and motion of cars. Some kind of could be that.
maybe like the ships and sea.
Uh, but the so-called those float and sink is not really for the young. It's for the older one, like of the boat. Even though it's like kind of like floating, it's for that concept is for the older ones, not for the younger.
So what would you do for that design?
I think it would be the force of motion,
Okay.
or some sort, or maybe little cars.
Yeah, you could do it. No cars and things like that. And you could get really close to the starting for this, so that they are that's just it.
Oh,
That's good. Do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm okay.
Think you're okay?
Yeah.
When you're done with it, you could come back so we can look at it together.
Okay.
Yeah. So, are you questions, comment, concerns? No.
I um yeah, I don't think.
When I say written person, and could you summarize what we did today? Could you summarize what we did today?
It was finding the activities that like match up with the standards here. With like the social studies and math standards, the activities that
What's the name of this paper?
this is a digital journal. This is number 5, or just digital journal.
So I wrote in my own person and worked on brainstorming activities, ideas for the digital journal paper. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Beautiful day. A weekend.